Hello, everyone. Welcome to day number 3 here at the Winnipeg Western Regionals. I am Jared Down. This is JD Hodden. We are Double J Sports back for another pre-day show here in Winnipeg. JD, one team has booked their ticket to Championship Sunday. We're waiting on the other one. That'll come later today at 3 p.m. Manitoba time, as the Saskatoon Blazers will play the Winnipeg Wild to see who faces Brandon tomorrow. But first off, the Brandon Wheat Kings and the Thunder Bay Kings. Thunder Bay, unfortunately, cannot move on, but they're playing for a lot still.
Yeah, you know what? It's they're playing for pride, and they're playing for the end of their season. They're a team that doesn't quit, and I don't think they're going to quit against Brandon here today, because for some of these kids, this is going to be their last game of minor hockey, and potentially moving up into junior A, major junior, wherever they might take them, or maybe they won't play hockey ever again. But for them, they're going to leave it all out on the ice today against a really good Brandon team that took down Winnipeg last night 3-1 and booked their ticket to the final. Thunder Bay, as I mentioned, for them, this is going to be an emotional game, because this marks the end of their season after today. After this game against Brandon at noon, their season will come to an end, and then they can look forward to next year. But I don't see any quitting these guys here today.
No, they're going to need strong goaltending, and they're going to hand Brandon. They're only their second loss of the year. Brandon's lost one game all year. We haven't shut up about that all weekend, but that's a big thing to play for here tonight, right? There's not often that you can play a meaningless game, but also have a lot to play for, right? And I think it's going to be interesting to see how guys like Matthew Lysak or Mitch Vanderway or Emerson DiGiacomo come out and try and take down almost, I don't want to say the David versus Goliath, but Thunder Bay's earned their way here. They played some good hockey. Just stretches. They just have bad stretches here that have just sunk them a little too quickly. And if they can eliminate that and just give it their all, should be a better hockey game.
Yeah, I think for Thunder Bay, they have to capitalize on their chances. In that game yesterday against Saskatoon, they came out and it was a great start for them in the first 10 minutes of that game. And then unfortunately, three power plays for Saskatoon back to back was I think the difference maker and the backbreaker in that game. Unfortunately, it just for them taking those penalties, you take those penalties out of the game, and they would have only lost 3-0 compared to 6-0.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're Mike Sargent and that coaching staff is probably going to it's one of the things that they're going to be telling their kids here today is to finish those opportunities when they have them. And they have guys that can score, and they created opportunities yesterday. It just, unfortunately, they just weren't able to capitalize in that game against Saskatoon, and unfortunately they walked away with a 6-0 loss. But you got to give credit where credit is due. Kyle Lake came in and played a great game in relief of Cameron Mann. And he stopped 30+ shots in only 2 periods of work. So he was the player of the game, and he played phenomenal. I thought only let in the 1 goal in that second period, and at the end of the day, I would imagine that their coaching staff's going to go back with him today after that performance he had yesterday.
Well, we saw last year, Thunder Bay lost their first 2 games here at the Western Regionals, and they ended up winning their last one in a shootout. Can they repeat what they did last year and finish strong? We'll wait and see. But JD, the big thing today is that second game, Saskatoon versus Winnipeg. Winner goes on to play Brandon Championship Sunday. What are you expecting in that one?
Both teams are going to come out firing. It's going to be a pretty impressive first 10 minutes, I want to say, and whoever sets the tone in that first 10 minutes might go on and win. Not sure how the game's going to go, but I think for both of those teams, setting the tone early, I think, is going to be key, and that's being physical, creating scoring chances, forcing turnovers, putting pressure on the opposing team, I think is going to be key for both Saskatoon and Winnipeg. And obviously strong goaltending is going to be massive. Both teams have guys that can score, and you're going to need, these teams are going to need their goalies to have, one of their best games here at this tournament. Grayson Malinowski was really good. Imagine Troy Walkington goes back to him today for Saskatoon. Gave the net to Maddox Cabreu. Got a shutout yesterday. But I think this is Grayson Malinowski's team, as he's mentioned to us before, and I think he's going to go with him. Then obviously Jacob Armstrong in Winnipeg. He played. That was a great bounce back game for him last night, and against Brandon. Unfortunately, a 3-1 loss, but he was great in net. And at the end of the day, I think strong goaltending and setting the tempo and staying within their structure, not trying to play outside of their game, and just have fun, enjoy the moment, because it's going to be a big stage. There's going to be a lot of people in here, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, you mentioned Jacob Armstrong's bounce back game yesterday. Game one, he didn't play terrible, but he didn't have the best game that he wanted. He was fighting the puck a little bit, allowing those pucks to kind of bounce off him in a bit of a danger zone. And you can't do that against Saskatoon. He bounced back nicely against Brandon. Bounced back nicely against Brandon, and he's rock solid. He's a sponge in net for them last night. Unfortunately, that first goal, tough one, got the wheels going for Brandon, and that game could have went either way last night. So can the big guns, Dane Boyker got going yesterday, so look out in this one. He held pointless in his first game, and he had 4 assists yesterday.
A quiet 4 assists to be fair, because when we were calling the games, it's hard to hear in the PA system. But Dane Boyker, we looked last night. He got 4 assists, so kudos to him finding his game, helping out his team where he can, and still looking for his first goal. But that might come today, and it might be an important one.
Well, he came awfully close yesterday. Nice little silky mitts, moved through the guys, and it looked like Lake might have just got a stick on it there in the second to avoid the tuck in. But Saskatoon's been here before. They've had a great year. They're well coached. I'm thinking they're going to bounce back. I shouldn't say bounce back. They won 6-0 yesterday. I'm going to get roasted for that one. But, they're a strong team. And it's going to be whoever makes the least amount of mistakes who can execute. We saw last night in the Winnipeg-Brandon game, how many times there was a puck just within inches of a guy's stick and it would have been in the net. And, a few of those plays go the other way, it can change a game. And I think Saskatoon's going to come out hard. They're hungry. They want to go back to the TELUS this year. They're there last year, 3rd place finish, which is pretty good in the grand scheme of things, but I'm sure they want more. And I'm excited to see how this game's going to play out.
And Winnipeg is looking, still looking for that first Western Regional Championship. They've had 4 second-place finishes in the history of their organization, and still looking for that first Western Regional Championship. And you know what? It all starts today for them. 2 games left. They're looking to play tomorrow. And you know what? Winnipeg last night, for the most part, they were able to hold Brandon to the outside.
Yeah.
They're like, the Brady Turco and Ethan Stewart, and they're guys that have speed and skill. They were keeping those guys and from most of the Wheat Kings players to the outside, and only allowing them to get shots off from top of circles, or maybe at the top of the point. Still letting Jacob Armstrong see it, and then Jacob Armstrong did a good job of not allowing many rebounds. Aside from unfortunately the 3rd goal. It was a tough break. Turco crashed in the net, got the rebound and scored. But they're going to need to do that same thing here tonight or this afternoon, I guess, with a 3 o'clock game. It's going to be somewhat afternoon, early evening, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I think, with Raiden Zacharias and Lee Shergott and Dane Boyker and Cohen Harris and, and a lot of those other guys, Preston Bearwald and a lot of their defensemen too, they're going to want to try to keep them to the outside to only allow them scoring chances from the outside and, clog up the middle, block those shots, and really help out Jacob Armstrong. Yeah, and
another big thing today is we are approaching our 3rd game in 3 days. Down in the tunnel last night, you're seeing a few kids, battle wounds are starting to show up. They've been through a long playoffs. A few guys kind of limping around. It's going to be it's going to be who can grind it through. I'm not sure if there's going to be anyone that's going to have to unfortunately sit out today due to injury, but it's going to be who wants it more in this one. Winnipeg at home in front of a lot of fans. This side of the rink was packed last night. Didn't get the result they want, and I'm sure they're going to be hungry for more. So this game could go either way. I'm looking forward to it, and I have no idea what's going to happen in this one.
No, neither do I, Jared. And you know what? we got to remember that these are still kids.
Yeah.
And anything can happen in hockey. One lucky bounce, we saw it with Brandon. All it took was a lucky bounce to go their way, and they were able to kind of get their feet moving and really get their offense started. And it could be an unlucky break, and you know what? Time will tell how this game will unfold. But I think that Winnipeg and Saskatoon, never played together, never played against one another. This season, obviously, Winnipeg played against the Blazers last year at the Western Regionals. And last year, I was thinking about this morning. We didn't have this situation last year on day 3 of the Western Regionals, like Warman and Saskatoon, both with 2-0 records. So the championship matchup was finalized on day 2. So we get a little bit extra added to day 3. People are going to get their money's worth when they walk in the Hockey for All Center here this afternoon for Saskatoon and Winnipeg. And I can expect, remember in the first 10 minutes of that Saskatoon-Brandon game, like they just played a 7-game series and they hate each other. I can honestly see that happening again with Winnipeg and Saskatoon because there's a lot on the line. This is a meaningful game. Your season is on the line. If you don't win, unfortunately, that's going to end your season. So for these kids, there's a lot on the line, but they have to take it in stride. There's going to be probably a lot of nerves for some of these players coming into this game because there's a lot on the line. So I'm looking to see how these two teams respond, and I'm going to look forward to see how their leaders help those younger players calm those nerves a little bit here tonight.
Yeah, the coaches are going to have these kids prepared. It's going to be one heck of a day here at the Hockey for All Center. Gets all started today at 12 o'clock Manitoba time here as the Brandon Wheat Kings will play the Thunder Bay Kings in Game 1 today. And then following that at 3 p.m., you'll have the Saskatoon Blazers and the Winnipeg Wild. JD, is there anything else we should add before we focus on today?
No, you can just go check out Flow Hockey. If you want to watch the games, Jared and I will be on the call for both of those games and tomorrow. So go over to Flow Hockey. You can watch the games there. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you after day 3.